Al, we got to talk about Kikyo, which I know is our favorite thing to talk about on this podcast because, we just love her characterization and we enjoy every time she shows up on screen and everything. And it's just, such a great time all around. Everyone's like, wow, when's Kikyo showing up?
Woo.
That's what we're all here to see.
Woo.
That's a lot. Those are all lies.
All lies.
All lies. Anyways, hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared Now Watch Inuyasha. Is episode 88. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Allen Ladium.
Hello.
We are discussing season 4, episode 5, or episode 87, entitled Kikyo's Lonely Journey. Because she's alone and on a journey, I guess. I don't know. This is just a big old, backstory-ish episode, I guess.
Yeah.
It existed.
It existed.
It sure did. We begin this episode, and Inuyasha and the gang are just walking about. Kagome wants to take a break because her butt hurts, and Inuyasha doesn't understand. He's like, well, we'll just tough it out. It'll be fine. Shippo does not want Kagome's bottom to get deformed, so
Deformed
Inuyasha
bottom.
eventually gives up and allows him to rest, even though he gets Sat Boy, and it did not feel like he deserved it. We both agreed on that.
It was an undeserved sit boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of strange.
And then we turn our attention to Kikyo. She's out doing her thing. She talks about how she sent her little ghost friends out to see if she could find Naraku, but she can't find him. His aura's up and disappeared, so can't do much with that. She ends up in a village, and they're talking about how there's a demon being rude and everything. So she goes to fight the demon in the swamp, and it's a big turtle, and she shoots an arrow at it first, and it just bounces off the shell, and she's like, well, okay, time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then turns around again once the demon turtle gets close, and then just shoots it with an arrow, and it just demolishes it.
Just basically explodes.
No turtle house for this turtle.
No turtle house.
Mm-mm. So she leaves. She's up just climbing on a trail, just walking, and this old man jumps out and is like, give me your money. You must have got a lot of money from killing the demon. She's like, no, I don't carry money on me. What do you gotta carry money on you. How else you gonna survive? Do you
On mist?
You eat mist? She's like,
Sorta.
I mean, and then the old man is just like, oh, I'm old. I'm an old man. She notices he has a sacred jewel shard on him, and that's keeping him alive. He's like, I'm 70 years old, and I'm 20 years over the average.
No.
People die.
He's 69.
Sorry, yes, he's almost 70. Sorry,
Almost 70. He's 69.
but he's very old for
Yes,
this time period in particular. So
yeah,
he's just
50 is the lifespan, and he's like, I'm an old man.
he's hanging on by a thread, essentially.
Looking for a place to die.
Yeah, and then he just passes out, and Kikyo takes him to a nearby shrine to tend him up and is like, hey, tell the rest of your story, because he was going to tell her about something about how he was and everything. He tells her he was a bandit. His name is Rasetsu. He used to be stealing, doing all the bad stuff 50 years ago, because he was like, well, I'll die young probably, so might as well get mine while the getting's good. So he was doing all that stuff, and then he gets he partners up with another fellow bandit by the name of Onigumo.
Whoa.
Very surprising. Who tricks him into trying to steal the sacred jewel shard from one Kikyo, which he tries to do. He's like, oh, just shoot her with an arrow and she'll be done. She'll never see it coming. He tries to do that, but then Inuyasha's there, and Inuyasha is able to destroy his sword by just blocking it with his forearm.
Somehow.
And the blade snaps in two, and just the top part of the blade spirals up and then just lands in Ratsetsu's eye, taking his eye out for good. And Inuyasha's like, oh, got you good this time. And then Kikyo calls for him. He's like, you better not be doing anything violent in my presence. He's like, well, no, of course not. I'm a good dog.
I would never.
Rasetsu is very unhappy with this because, A, he did not get the sacred jewel shard. Also, he lost an eye. He goes back to his campsite, and all his men are gone. And he's like, well, that darn Onigumo bamboozled me. He tricked me. So he goes into like this town and runs into an inn, finds all his men just drinking merrily. He's like, "Oh, where's that Onigubo? Oh!" And then he just blows up this inn, burying Onigumo in it.
This man just legit has a bomb.
Yeah, just casual bombs. Onigumo survives, so he wraps him up and then just chucks him off a cliff.
Yep.
Thinking that's the end of it. So after he tells the story and everything, Kikyo's like, "Well, that's how he met me, of course." And then a giant demon hair monster with a bunch of eyes shows up and is like, "I want the sacred jewel shard because Naraku abandoned me and I need a jewel shard to get a new body." Just smashing things in until like because it has like its eyes exposed, so just smashing the shrine up with his eyes. It seems very painful, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
It tries to take the old man and get him, and he like tries to tie the jewel shard to an arrow and stabs it, and then all that falls, and then Kikyo's just like bloop, snipes it and destroys the hair monster and everything. Yay. Rosetsu is just sitting by a tree. He cuts off part of his hair, and is like, "Go bury this somewhere so I can get my sins purified and everything. Go to Mount Hakure. That's where the villains can find peace.
I want forgiveness."
And then he dies.
But
we cut back to Inuyasha and company,
where
they're in a little shack resting from the storm. Kagome's sneezing, so Inuyasha gives her
the top part of his outfit.
Yep. So she's warm, and he checks her for a fever because she's like, "Oh, someone's just gossiping about me. That's why I'm sneezing the whole time." And he's like, "No, you got a fever. You don't got a fever."
That's stupid. Who would talk about you?
And then they get close to each other, do a little bit of blushy, and then everyone with their one eye opens like,
Everyone. Like, first it was Moroku. It was like, that makes sense. And then like it pans over and you see like Kirara and Shippo and Sango all with one eye open too. It's like, can't get any privacy here, kids.
Nope. And we also see Kikyo's making her journey to Mount Hakure. She asks for directions and finds that it's a mountain very far in the distance. Like, oh, gotta go there, I guess.
Must go that way. Whee!
And that's how we end this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We have one note.
Okay.
In the manga, the bandit accosts Kikyo and asks her to take a lock of his hair and bury it at a place where his sins will be purified, and then he dies. She then makes her way to Mount Hakure. Everything else is an anime original. This actually takes place before Demon's Head Castle.
I mean, I think it's probably a better story to have it just be like filled out rather than here's my hair. Bleh.
Yeah, and also you could put this wherever because it's not like super duper plot relevant.
Correct.
But anyways, next time we'll be discussing season 4, episode 6 or episode 88, entitled "The Three Sprites of the Monkey God."
Monkey God.
It's time to get very weird.
Yeah, no kidding. See some butts and some rocks.
That's for true. But that's going to do it for us this week. So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup, and you can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. So join us next time for some good old monkeying around.